Four men, inspired by an al-Qaeda preacher to launch a pre-Christmas bombing campaign in London, are facing lengthy jail sentences tonight. If their plans had come to fruition, attacks could have been carried out at the London Eye, the Stock Exchange and Westminster Abbey. The men were the central figures in a conspiracy involving 5 others, all of whom pleaded guilty to terror charges at Woolwich Crown Court. Katie Razzle has this report.
They admitted a plan to bomb the London Stock Exchange. They'd learnt bomb-making from a magazine aimed at English-speaking terrorists and were inspired by a radical preacher overseas. They pleaded guilty this morning as their trial was due to start. Londoners Mohammed Chowdhury and Shah Rahman, Cardiff-based Gurukanth Desai and Abdul Mir. A Welsh local councillor says the Cardiff pair were radicalised in prison.
Those boys, they went inside for petty crimes, and all of a sudden they came out and they become overnight self-made clerics. And they're giving the message to the community that what they are following is the right path of Islam, and what we've been listening all these years is not the right. So everybody will come together and ban them from the mosque.
They'd been part of a group under police surveillance for several months. The 2 Londoners had been observed on what the police believe was a reconnaissance trip in November 2010. They'd taken pictures of Big Ben, the Palace of Westminster, the London Eye, Westminster Abbey amongst other London sites, ending their jaunt with supper in McDonald's. No bomb had been made, no attack launched when the police pounced just before Christmas 2010. They claim they'd heard the men discuss sending parcel bombs to a variety of targets, talk about launching a Mumbai-style attack. A handwritten list found at one of their homes contained the names and addresses of potential targets, the police believe. The London Mayor Boris Johnson on that list.
I believe that today's arrests were absolutely necessary in order to keep the public safe.
These 3 men from Stoke-on-Trent were among those arrested back then. Today they admitted terrorism offences, including fundraising for terrorist training abroad. Yet just a few years ago, one claimed his intentions were good.
We're not terrorists. We're not here to. We preach covenant of security. We live here in harmony with the British people.
Today, another Stoke accomplice admitted possessing this online al-Qaeda magazine, Inspire, which details how to make a bomb at home. In all, 9 British men pleaded guilty at Woolwich Crown Court today. The 2 Londoners admitted their crimes after their lawyers asked the judge to indicate what sentence they might receive. 12 years in jail for Rahman, 13.5 for ringleader Chowdhury, he told them. That would see both free in about 6 years, though they won't be sentenced properly until next week. When the jury here were first sworn in, all 9 men were pleading not guilty. But after a week or so of conversations between them and lawyers, that changed. And as the prosecution counsel outlined to the jury what had happened this morning, the young men seemed relaxed. At times they were smiling, and at one point some of them even laughed, though it was unclear why. The men had first connected online and, fearing surveillance, arranged to meet face-to-face outside at this Cardiff park. They were being monitored, though, in what the police say was the largest counter-terrorism operation of 2010. They were inspired by Anwar al-Awlaki, the most eloquent al-Qaeda ideologue preaching in English.
They followed their rabbis, they followed their priests.
He urged English-speaking Muslims to attack their own countries before he was killed last year. But his publications also encouraged hitting the infidel economy. By dragging out their trial to the 11th hour, perhaps that was the intention of these 9 men. The lengthy surveillance operation, plus a year of legal fees and hundreds of thousands of pounds to imprison them, all have cost the public purse dear.